This is Grow Omaha Uncut, where you can watch our radio show, including what goes on in the commercial breaks. And be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. Well, good morning and welcome to the show. Jeff Beals at your service. We're broadcasting live from the KFAB Penthouse Studio high above Underwood Avenue in beautiful downtown Dundee. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center with 4 metro area locations and Cheer Athletics, the Cadillac of all-star cheer gyms. Well, we've got a great show planned for you, but before we get into any of it, I'm going to bring on my co-host, a man who is a legendary real estate deal maker and all-around entertaining fellow to have a beer with, Trenton Magid.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Jeff.
Well, good morning to you. And we've got a lot of topics on the docket today. So without any further ado, I'm just going to jump right into the news.
Bring them on.
Okay. It's brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. And as the name would indicate, they're in the mortgage business. So conventional loans, FHA loans, VA loans, they do all of that. And they just do a very good job of customer service. You know, Eagle Mortgage knows that buying a house is one of the biggest expenses, investments that anyone ever undertakes. And so their job is to work with you, shop the lenders, match you with the best lender that provides you the most value, and then work with you throughout the process. Now, it's springtime. If you're thinking about buying a house this spring or this summer, and I know a lot of people are, we want you to talk to Eagle Mortgage and get a pre-approval letter, because we are still running into a lot of situations where, despite these interest rates, people are still fighting for houses sometimes. And so you want that Eagle Mortgage pre-approval letter in your back pocket. It's an arrow in your quiver. You can find them online at eaglemortgagecompany.com. Well, speaking of houses, Trenton, you and I went to a Metro Omaha Builders Association meeting earlier this week, and they brought in a man who is a research and data analytics guru in the real estate and housing and housing construction industry. And to sum up what he basically said, Omaha, out of the all of the markets in the 16 states that his company researches, is about the best housing market there is.
It was very interesting. A guy named Edson Charles, and he's been in the industry a long time. Metro Omaha Builders Association brought him in. He has people on the ground every 3 or 4 months that physically count the lots, buildable lots, sewers in the ground. They can build a house, houses that are already being erected, and pretty some spot-on data. And I was impressed, basically saying that people in Omaha, especially in the residential real estate business, should be happier. He says we could be building another 1,500 to 2,000 units this year, and to meet supply or to meet demand.
Yeah, he basically said, go and pray and give thanks this weekend at your house of worship that you live in such a place with a great market. It was just good to hear. It was good to hear that our housing market stacks up so well against and to help people out if they're wondering what are these other states. He does 16 states, and it sounds like Nebraska is one of the westernmost, and then they go over toward the East Coast.
Virginia.
Like he mentioned, the only state that has housing that's comparable or close to Omaha and Lincoln's right now would be in Virginia. He said for some reason they're doing great in Virginia. I imagine it's always a good housing market there.
So it's not like we can have our contractors go out tomorrow and build these houses and get them ready for you for the fall. It's about a 2-year process at least before you take a piece of farmland and you work with the local jurisdiction. You look at the soils and you get it ready and entitled in order to put it in the streets and do the financing and everything else. And that's why we got to jump on that kind of stuff. And Omaha's been pretty good. We usually like to have, what do you say, 2.5 or 3.5 year supply.
Something like that.
Of housing stock so we don't run out. So you got to, because there's such a long lead time, you got to schedule that. And I think overall, and we have some really solid home builders that make quantity homes as well as smaller batches for the higher end that do a good job.
So I take Grow Omaha tours, usually a couple of them every week, as long as I'm in town. And this week, one of the tours I did was It included the corridors northwest of Maple and 156. So I just kind of drove up and down the corridors northwest of West Maple Road and 156 because that's such an area of intense housing growth and new subdivision development. And a couple weeks had gone by since I drove up in that area of town. And I swear even in a couple weeks, it seems like there'll be like a new subdivision that's graded or something like that. But yeah, there is a lot of single family housing construction in that far northwest area.
And it's fun just to name one, say Celebrity Homes, who's always done a good job on entry-level homes and above. And, those entry-level homes we're talking about are probably above $300,000 for most of them, and
not your father's entry-level home.
No, it's not. And Gail Larson and his team up there. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have a lot of entry-level homes. So we need more, but it takes some strong wills, and it's fun to see the growth patterns out there. As you're talking about the Northwest out there, we're seeing more industrial go out Highway 133, Blair High Road. But we're also seeing Gretna is just on fire. La Vista, we're seeing Bellevue and Papillion also take off.
Well, you mentioned Gretna, and that brings us to the Gretna Landing development. This is the very large development that is in the early stages northwest of 192nd and Highway 370. And we wanted to give you a few updates about what's happening there at Gretna Landing. The first thing to open was a Scooter's Coffee. It is now officially open. There's a Walgreens store that is really close. When you drive by it, you can see in the window they're starting to set up the inside, but the construction is done. A Chase Bank building is fully enclosed and scheduled to open late this summer. Now, the biggest development in that area will be a Fleet Farm, and grading for that store, which is going to be 150,000 square feet, should start this fall with opening planned for the fall of 2025. And then finally, grading is underway in that area for a 250-unit multifamily project. So Gretna has been an area of concentration when we talk about suburban growth for some time now, but it is picking up.
And we're talking about just west of the world's largest Hy-V,
correct,
135,000 feet. There's also a big piece of land back there for a national medical facility that we don't know much about it yet, but the developer said that that's who bought the land a long time ago, and they're going to need the services out there. If you're going to put that many houses out there, and it'll certainly be not just a bedroom community. I mean, it's going to be full services for everything. Well,
the day will come within the next couple of decades where both Papillion and Gretna have over 50,000 people living in them. I mean, they've got the land to do it. I mean, Papillion is only 25,000. It feels like it's a lot more than that.
10 to 12?
Yeah, about 10. Yeah, the sign says 5 or 1,000 or something when you drive by, but it's old because it's grown so fast. But yeah, the day is not that far away, that many years away, where both Gretna and Papillion will have over 50,000 people. Bellevue's already pushing 70, and so those will be some big suburbs down there in Sarpy County. And real nice, the development that Papillion, Gretna doing, La Vista, same deal. Nice looking stuff that they build down there.
And we're seeing population growth. We talked about it in the last couple of shows. Population growth has stepped up a little bit.
Yeah, it's accelerated.
It's a little about 1%.
Yeah, and it's showing signs anecdotally, just from my observations and comparing it over the years when we've had a flurry of development. Usually you'll notice a year or two later like an uptick in population, and so I'm kind of anticipating that growth rate will pop up a little bit, but we shall see. Well, taking it to South Omaha right now, this is an interesting project. There is a building on the northeast corner of 24th and Q. Of course, 24th Street is Main Street for old South Omaha, Nebraska. 24th and Q. Building is a retail-like building with a little surface parking lot to the north, been vacant for a while. Plans call for converting it into South Omaha Global Market. And it would include a food court with 16 different businesses offering cuisine from around the world. $16 million project expected to create 50 jobs and be finished in 2027. If that happens, that would be a nice complement to the Plaza de la Raza expansion plans that are down there. And then there's a group also working on a parking garage that would serve that historic 24th Street corridor. So good news there.
I'd imagine it's indoors, but I kind of feel like it should be indoor-outdoor type of food court down there.
It's funny you should say that because there's one thing that there's a lot of things that are cool about the South 24th Street corridor, but one of them is that even on a 15-degree day or a 115-degree day, it seems like there's more outside activity than you see in other parts of town. So that's a good point. Yeah. They could do that. Well, the CHI Health Center Omaha is going to host the first ever championship of the Pro Volleyball Federation. It'll take place on May 15th and then the finals on 18th. And this event, it'll be broadcast on the CBS Sports Network. Of course, the Omaha Supernovas, are a part of this inaugural league and doing really well. The team or the league also has teams in Atlanta, Grand Rapids, Orlando, Columbus, Ohio, San Diego, and Las Vegas. So good job to all of you local volleyball fans that turn out and have made the Omaha Supernovas the attendance leader in this new Pro Volleyball Federation, because I'm sure that's why they chose the CHI Center for the championship.
And it's just nice to see more people visit Omaha for the first time, or multiple times for that matter. And we need to spread the word. And I think the next decade, Omaha has great opportunities to attract more students, attract more families moving here. And it's a quality of life thing. And the more hits we get on national and international media, we'll take them. I
agree. I mean, I said it was either last week or the week before I made the comment that we are entering a golden age here in Omaha, and I'm convinced we are. I mean, you think about the things that are going to open in this town in 2026 through 2028, and it's pretty evident that we're going into one of those periods that I think sometimes folks will look back at and think, okay, in the late 18th century, Omaha boomed, and then in the 1920s, it did great again. This is going to be another one of those golden eras. Well, one of the signs or symbols of this golden era we're entering in is the new Mutual of Omaha headquarters tower, and we like to periodically give you updates on this. It keeps creeping upwards. The concrete shear tower, which is the spine of the future 677-foot tall building, is now up to the 10th floor. They're pouring concrete for the 10th floor. And if you haven't been by, next time you're in the downtown area, just walk over to 14th and Farnham or drive by, and you'll be impressed with the size and scope of the building. The parking garage, which will comprise the first 12 levels, is, depending on which corner of the building, it kind of looks like they're working on about the 4th level in certain places. So that's coming along quite nicely. Speaking of buildings that are working on higher levels, Children's Nebraska is building the new behavioral health hospital at about 85th and Dodge on the south side, so just west of the primary children's hospital. That building, steel frame going up there, and parts of it already working on the 4th floor.
It looks monstrous.
The scale from Dodge Street is damned impressive. I mean, it has a street presence, Trenton. Cool building, and even cooler stuff will take place inside that building. Some desperately needed services in our community that we're excited to get that building open. And then finally, our final item today, Westgate Plaza on 84th Street between Interstate 80 and Center Street. We have some big changes going in there. Westlake Ace Hardware will be moving from 84th and Center into a bigger space in Westgate Plaza. It's going to take pretty much all the space north of Mangelson's. There's also going to be a Starbucks that will be going into Westgate Plaza as well. So some big changes going on in that, what is kind of a historic retail center.
And that is my old stomping grounds, the Tom Kelly bowling store.
Tom Kelly's Bowling Pro Shop. Go ahead.
Thank you, Jeff. I believe they are, along with, at least I read it, I haven't verified it, along with the Cake Gallery, are both moving to Bel Air at 120th and Center.
Oh, is that where they're going?
Yeah, and it's interesting. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it in social media. There's a gentleman by the name of Ed Otto who I met a number of years ago, and I think it's 50 years or something, and he's been involved with the Cake Gallery for 35 years, and they had like 6,000 feet there.
Yeah, so it was a big bakery. The news coverage of that, though, frankly, was a little uncomfortably cringy because the Cake Gallery owner was really publicly lamenting, some would say whining. That's not my word, but some would say kind of whining about having to leave, and there was talk about getting customers to pre-order things, and it seemed a little bit weird because in business, tenants come and go. It's just part of the deal,
right? And I understand that it's a neighborhood staple and it's been there for a long time and stuff, but it's not squatters' rights. It's capitalism, and he was very vocal with a video on the door and social media, and it was basically like, how dare they kick me out of this? These two $2 billion companies, this Westlake Ace Hardware that's moving in, and then that shopping center in the last couple of years ago was bought by Dakota REIT, a stock exchange company, but they're doing business and they're doing what's right for their building. Now, that's why tenants have leases, and they should up their leases before they run out, and everybody has leverage, and I think the Cake Gallery is a great product. Ed Otto was talking about $600,000 in order to put in the new store at Bel Air, and he was pre-selling gift cards and things like that, and I don't know where that's going to lead him, but we wish him luck. I just thought it was interesting. It was one of the first times in my 30 years where I saw a very successful store not planning ahead, and this was inevitable. I'm told that the landlord gave him about a year and a half advance notice, so it wasn't a surprise.
Public service announcement: if you want to be guaranteed to never have to move, own your own building. All right, that is your news of the week, brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, EagleMortgageCompany.com. Going to take our first break in the hour, and when we come back, we have more to share. You were going to talk a little bit about what's happening in the local real estate market and much, much more. You're listening to Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics on News Radio 1110 KFAB. It's kind of like these businesses that
I love that
now they like, you have for-profit. I'm not saying he's doing this, but
right.
You have these for-profit businesses that are now doing GoFundMe and shit like this. It's like, you're a for-profit business. If you have to have charitable contributions to survive, you are not a viable business.
And I remember it's been 10, 15 years something, and I had space across the street. So, of course, I wanted him to move, and he's like, no, he looked at it, whatever. At the time, I think he was, like, traveling to Colombia, and he had some gold mining operations or something, and I don't know anything about how that turned out or whatever, but if you see his internet presence and stuff, he fancies himself as, like, the guy that knows how to start these businesses, run cake shops. He's the guru of doing all this, and then when it comes to his own, headquarters, all of a sudden he's caught off guard.
Well, and the way it was portrayed, at least in I think it was a KTV article or WOWT, one of the two that I saw, it was like
he expects the landlord and the new tenant to pay for it.
He couldn't afford to do this, and
right. I'm pretty sure he got the full useful life out of the improvements.
Cowboy
over the last 35 years.
Yeah, and they said in the article that the business was there 58 years ago, and that's probably about the time the center was built.
Yeah, and he had it for like 35 years or something.
I remember when I was a little kid, we lived not far from there, and we would go. We'd go there for donuts. And
get Elfinaires.
Yeah, and they had cookies and all that. We loved that bakery.
There was a flood like in the 50s where that building flooded, that whole area flooded.
50s?
Yeah.
Oh.
They'd be a boat coming through there and stuff.
Okay, well, that building has been there for 58 years. That would only be in the 60s then. Or was it? It wasn't built in the 50s, was it? I bet it was 60s.
Probably.
Yeah, or sure, maybe that flood was in the 60s or something.
But I talked to the current leasing agent and stuff, and it's we've been doing this long enough. It's like that guy knew, but my concern is, it's like,
come on, dude.
If all these people around him are giving him $500 and getting gift cards, this is the same thing. Like, then they use him and he has no money.
Yeah.
He's already took that money to build his new store out.
What happens when you have to deliver?
You need income. It's not
cakes. What happens when you have to deliver the cakes and he used all the gift card money already?
And what did he do with all the dough?
I see what you did there. What's his name? Ed?
Ed Otto.
Okay, Ed, if you're watching, sorry. Sorry that if it feels like we're piling up on you, but...
No, we're being honest.
But dude, I mean, come on, dude.
And this was,
dude. Bro.
You had the time. I remember you as a nice guy. I tried to get you to move across the street. You were very comfortable there. And you got a plan for the future. But could you imagine that if every time you moved they probably have it in California or New York or something, like if you kick a tenant out that's been longer than so long, then you got to pay for their move.
You got to pay for their move, and you got to like organize their GoFundMe campaign. And...
Back in 5.
Okay, 5 seconds?
5 seconds.
Okay. 5 seconds or 5 minutes?
Listen to News Radio 1110 KFAB anywhere, anytime on your free iHeartRadio app. All your music, radio, and podcasts.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beal sitting next to Trenton Magid. And we are brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, along with Cheer Athletics. Now, Dingman's has 4 metro area locations, one near 120th and Maple, another one in Papillion, Saddle Creek Road, South Saddle Creek Road, that is. And the 4th one is at 144th and L. Doesn't matter which one you pick. They're all outstanding.
There'll be more to come.
And more to come, you say?
I was with them yesterday. We're strategic planning.
Okay, breaking news right here on the Grow Omaha Show. We don't know where or when, but maybe a 5th Dingman's?
Maybe a 5th Dingman's. Maybe a 6th Dingman's also.
Okay. Well, you heard it here first, and this is why you tune into the show, because even during the doggone commercials, we drop content on you that you can't find anywhere else. So thanks to Dingman's and Cheer Athletics for making the show possible. Well, Trenton and I are part of the NAI NP Dodge commercial real estate family, and our company releases commercial real estate market data every quarter. And the most recent quarterly report just now coming out. So this is pretty fresh stuff. And we want to kind of give you an update about how the market is looking. Basically, it is good. Doesn't matter whether it is office, retail, or industrial. It's all really good right now. Office market, and we hear all of these, terrible things about the office space. And we do know there are a lot of people working from home, and there have been some issues. But according to the data that we use in this report, which comes from CoStar, the vacancy rate, or I guess the primary vacancy rate for office in Omaha is only not even 7%.
Yeah, and I was pleased by that number. And one thing that might skew it a little bit, and I don't know if they broke it out in that report, but we call it shadow space. So there's a number of companies in Omaha and across the world that have leases. They have space where maybe a skeleton crew, maybe it's people are working a couple times a day and they can come and go. And I think they truly either they don't want to sublease their space because they don't know if they're going to be coming back there or not. So it's going to take a couple of years still to shake out. And I'm pleasantly pleased with Omaha because we've been able to fill some of these spaces that were just either vacant or some of these companies decided on a different model and we're going to shrink our footprint.
Total office market in Omaha is 49 million square feet, and currently 1.3 million square feet of office space is under construction. Looking at the retail market.
Not to cut you off, but I did. On the office markets, that's A, B, and C space. So some of that space is probably functionally obsolescent, still on the surveys. So that'll never get leased. Some of the space is great, and we need that for expansion of other buildings and stuff like that. So that's a comfortable vacancy rate for office.
Looking at the retail market, there's 66 million total square feet of retail space in Omaha. Vacancy, according to CoStar, is 4.6%, which we used in the report. Kind of weird because they just did an article about Omaha last week saying it was only 3-something. So I don't know if they're sometimes you get different stories from different CoStar articles. But nevertheless, it's good, nice and low.
And we can talk about what's available on the retail market out in the next segment.
And looks like right now we've got 375,000 square feet of retail space currently under construction. And then in the industrial market, this is the segment that for multiple quarters in a row has been by far the strongest of the big three commercial real estate markets. There's 107 million total square feet of industrial space in the marketplace. 4.8 million square feet of industrial space under construction. That's actually less under construction than last quarter, believe it or not. But here's the vacancy rate, 2.6%, which is actually a little higher than last quarter.
We'll take it. We need the space. John Meyer and I in our office are buying, selling industrial buildings, filling industrial buildings, working with buyers and sellers, tenants and landlords. And the industrial, it's been strong. There's a lot of home delivery stuff. There's a lot of manufacturing companies that need space, and all types of industrial spaces are getting leased.
Well, it's time for our middle of the show break because you need to hear the news so you know what's going on in the world. We're going to do that. And when we come back, we'll have our Noddle Company's commercial real estate development spotlight. We're also going to be talking about construction happening in Heartwood Preserve. We might be talking a little bit about even a couple retail items. So stick with us. It's all going to be interesting and all worth your time. You're listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
All right. Craig wants me to promote an open house they're having for Cheer. Speaking of Dingman, oh, Darcy Dingman. Darcy Dingman's on there.
So Charlie Yin
So you need this.
has a new business
I'll give this to you after I read this. Okay, Charlie in what?
above one of those buildings. Those two buildings Gunderson's own. So in addition to the apartments, we can talk about those two buildings behind Charleston's.
Yeah.
You know, one's Gunderson's.
Yeah.
Which
Their flagship jewelry store.
they could be they're probably the largest Rolex dealer in the country, throughout the country.
That's supposed to be the largest Rolex showroom in America.
That is?
Well, when they first announced it a couple years ago, they said when it opened, it would be the largest Rolex showroom in the country. In Omaha!
I forgot to bring it, but he was
Little old Omaha.
Michael, he's trying to sell me this.
So what about yen?
They hoping to sell to Warren Buffett or something?
What's that?
Hoping people like Warren Buffett are there.
Which is kind of funny because Warren Buffett probably wouldn't even spend money on such frivolity.
Probably got a Seiko.
Yeah.
Or Casio.
Timex.
Isn't that his name, Charlie? Yeah.
The restaurant guy?
Yeah.
So what about him? He's opening something?
Yeah, it's a membership only club where they'll cater from Mahogany and
That's not the cigar bar, is it?
No.
Okay.
There's Gunderson's, there's a cigar bar, there's a beer, a high-end beer
Oh,
place.
I did hear about this. It's going to be kind of like it'll be a steakhouse, cocktails, and you have to. It's kind of like having a social membership at a country club, right?
Yeah, but I don't know about the steakhouse part.
Oh, okay. I heard about something about. Was Todd telling me about that?
Probably. It depends.
The Trump.
The what?
That's funny. Oh, there's the Trump mugshot commemorative $2 bill. What?
$2 bill for $20.
Prison inmate number.
Certificate of authenticity. Okay.
And I got the card and it fucking.
Back in 30 seconds.
Oh, we're already done with the news? Or do we skip it? I'd be thrilled.
You're right.
Skip it.
I did not see it.
Oh. Oh, okay.
I'd love to skip it, but I think I'd be out of a job.
We used to skip it all the time, and then management flexed on us a little bit. Now we have to run it. Management was not happy that we were cutting out the Fox News.
I would believe it.
I think they'd rather hear us than the news.
I think they would.
Yeah,
I'd rather hear us.
especially nowadays.
It's all depressing on the news.
4 earthquakes in the northeast yesterday.
It was a magnitude 4. So
I think there was 4 different ones.
was it 4 different ones?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, like were they aftershocks or a whole new earthquakes?
Well, I think one was just outside of New York, one was New Jersey. Of course, those are one close.
Rattle the skyscrapers.
Yeah. So I think 4.4 had to be pretty shallow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh,
This,
I'll just rain on those buildings.
I posted last night I took yesterday afternoon. I took a construction progress photo of the Mutual Tower.
Mm-hmm.
We're already up to like 579 likes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
Sunny skies today with a high of 67, low of 48.
Heartwood Preserve Social Club.
Turn on your Heartwood.
Miles an hour. Sunday high of 62, low of 41. 50% chance of rain in the morning. Monday mostly sunny with a high of 64. Monday night.
Original's Heart Light, right? Turn on your heart light. Who sang it?
Neil Diamond?
What's that?
Neil Diamond?
Oh, did he? Oh,
So,
I had no idea. That sounds like something he would sing. Turn on your heart light.
Look for the Amoco logo at Anderson Convenience.
Then there was It's a Heartache.
Trying to get
Nothing but a
information on Charlie
heartache.
Yin's.
favorite song by him is Coming to America.
Oh, that is a great song. We're
Charlie.
coming to America. Great song.
Convenience Market, serving Omaha since 1952, and now with quality Amoco fuel. Jim Rose, Gary Saddlemeyer for our
Social
Jim Rose and
Club.
Gary
Here's your
Saddlemeyer.
cell phone number.
It's a song that can still give you goosebumps.
Yeah, it's a great song.
A link to that club. Period. I didn't bring the card with me. Here.
Upsizing, downsizing, maybe you want to get into the rental business.
Alrighty, let's see here.
Spring's the perfect time for that.
What the hell are we gonna talk
I
about?
came from Hathaway Home Services, Ambassador Real Estate. I hope you'll reach out for any real estate need you have at DanielAltman.com.
Did you know one of the best investments you can make? It's in yourself. At My Computer Career, in just a few months, you could start your new career in the high-demand,
I need to read
recession-resistant
something
field
here.
of information technology. Isn't it time you invested in you and start a career in networking, cybersecurity, AI, or upskill?
I need that for the very beginning, then I'll give it back to you for the stuff on the back. What
Deal.
your notes are.
Deal.
No experience necessary. Start now at mycomputercareer.edu.
Pinky swear.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to...
After 1,000 shows, you can only be so original.
Yeah.
Carriers for up to half the cost, so why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Okay.
It's supposed to be windy, but hopefully I'll warm up a little bit too.
Yeah, what's the temperature, weatherman? Go high today.
High is
66.
67, we'll
Yeah.
take it.
46 now.
low 48.
With a 75 mile per hour wind.
Yeah.
67, but winds could get up to 50 miles an hour.
So 67 for high with a wind chill of 22.
Yeah, probably.
Sounds about right.
Extra double-sided tape on your toupees.
Crisis of homelessness have a place to call home when they come to Micah House. Now, you can help make a difference by attending Champagne and Diamonds May 4th at the Mid-America Center. Enjoy a festive Kentucky Derby-themed evening with dinner, prizes, silent auctions, or enter the Diamond Raffle. All funds raised go directly to help the Micah House continue its mission.
Alrighty.
Visit themicahhouse.org.
Nervous.
That's what you told us last time.
Fun evening
Yeah.
for a great cause. Attend
Sure, Ben.
Champagne and Diamonds on Saturday, May 4th.
Listen on our free iHeartRadio app for all your music, sports, talk, and podcasts. Free never sounded so good. News Radio 11.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid with you from the KFAB studio. You're listening to Grow Omaha. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center along with Cheer Athletics. Cheer Athletics is the nation's #1 all-star cheer gym. And we got to tell you, on Sunday, April 14th, coming up pretty soon, Sunday, April 14th, Cheer Athletics is having an open house at 1 o'clock p.m. If you or your child is interested, come out, meet with the owners, the coaches, and see their beautiful facility that they have. You can learn tumbling, stunting, or join a team. Now, Cheer Athletics is located just a little bit southwest of Highways 50 and 370 in Papillion, and we highly recommend it. In fact, tryouts are going to be coming up also pretty soon, late April and May, for the 2024-25 season. We'll talk more about that in a couple weeks, but for now, if you're looking for a good thing for your kiddo, your grandkid, or whatever, go to the open house Sunday, April 14th, Cheer Athletics at 1 o'clock p.m. All right, Trenton, are you ready for the Noddle Company's Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight of the Week?
Yes, sir.
I'm glad you are, because even if you weren't, we would still go ahead and do it.
Bring it.
But it's always better if you're ready. This is where we talk about some growth and development in real estate and construction that relates to Noddle Company's projects. And when it comes to Noddle Companies, there's no shortage of things for us to talk about because they do so much to build our community. And they actually build more than just Omaha. They have projects around the country, but of course we really care about what Noddle Companies does here. And some of their big projects include Exarban Village. They do a Steel Ridge, which is a kind of a business, some retail, some industrial, out in where Papillion and Gretna meet near Highway 370 and Interstate 80. They have the Builders District downtown, River's Edge in Council Bluffs. And of course, they've done a lot of big headquarters buildings like the Valmont headquarters in Hartwood Preserve, Noddle Company's project, HDR headquarters, which opened a few years ago in Exarban Village, beautiful building. That's one of theirs too. Well, this week, we're going to focus on the Builders District. This is part of North Downtown. So it's a little bit west of Charles Schwab Field in North Downtown. It is anchored by Kiewitz Global Headquarters, which was a Noddle Company's project as well. And there's a big open area that is, say, west of 16th, east of 17th, and south of Cummings Street. And that is going to be the Builders District's new public amenities park. And construction on that is really going full bore. Just yesterday, Grow Omaha went down there, took a look at it, and a lot of work going on. Looks like there will be like a platform with a big outdoor video TV screen that is in place, a lot of ground and foundation work. And this will be unique, but the closest thing to it will be that public amenity space that Noddle Companies installed in Exarban Village right north of the HDR headquarters. That's where they have Sonny's, the Airstream trailer with the bar and all that. So
cornhole.
Similar stuff to that coming to the Builders District, and the construction on that is coming along really, really nicely.
And there's also the timber building is getting done, and there's office space to be had in this beautiful new timber building right in the Builders District.
Yeah, it's cool that when you look through the windows of that building, you can see the actual structural skeleton that's made out of those real cool timbers. It's kind of like an ultra-modern cutting-edge office building with a little bit of that old market Jobbers Canyon look on the inside of it.
And it's so important to reinvigorate our urban core. There's a lot of buildings that have been transformed, a lot of new construction, but sometimes there's some buildings that are 1 or 2 stories that need to be taken down so we can build bigger buildings, increase the density. That gets us a lot closer to a full-service grocery store and other amenities, which really makes downtown more lively.
Yeah, and we have heard from a good source that a handful of developers downtown are competing for that full-service urban grocery store that is apparently coming to the downtown area, and we can't wait to find out where it lands and which brand it is going to be. And that is your Noddle Company's Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight. You can learn more about Noddle by going to noddlecompanies.com. Well, we told you that Insomnia Cookies opened last Saturday, a week ago today, in the Capital District. We now know they will be opening a second location somewhere in the Blackstone District. We're still trying to figure out the exact spot.
They still haven't fallen asleep, is what you're saying.
They still have insomnia, and we think we know which spot, but we haven't confirmed it yet. So we're working on that. But pretty soon, a second Insomnia Cookies coming to the Blackstone District. Trenton, we've got some Heartwood Preserve construction updates.
Yeah, this is exciting. This is the area just north of the Miller North track and field area. That fenced area with all the signs and stuff on it. This is a 14-acre site that Broadmoor Development. Broadmoor has been around for decades, and from the apartments at One Pacific Place, just countless. The Broadmoor Hills up on 180th and Dodge. They build Class A communities, and here's another one just coming out of the ground. You'll see a building. It's a 5-story building. It looks like a big concrete wall and maybe some doors on the sides. That is the parking garage for the first building. It'll be about 5 stories of 301 apartment units, and then they can build a total of about 550 units. This first building will take 2 years to complete. They'll have plenty of amenities, just like all the other Broadmoor communities have, and we congratulate them on that. And then if you go farther to the north, everybody knows about the new Charleston's that has opened up, and Mahogany is about to open up. I don't think it's open up yet.
It is open.
Is it okay? Mahogany's open, and there's 2 buildings that sits behind there. Those are owned by the Gunderson family, who are huge in the jewelry business. They have a number of other different businesses. They're really good for the Omaha community. I don't know all the details, but I know that they're going to have a jewelry store there, and it may be the largest Rolex showroom. And they're one of the biggest dealers in the country, if not the biggest dealer of Rolex. So we're proud to have them in Omaha. There's going to be, on one of those, there's going to be a high-end brew pub based on beer and other libations. That'll be an exotic place. And then there's a gentleman by the name of Charlie Yin, who I've known for a while, and we all know him from Hero 88, which is his family's restaurants. He has local now, and then he is going to do a private club, and the name escapes me, but I was talking to him about it. Above one of these buildings on the second floor, they'll be able to cater in food from Charleston's and from Mahogany, and it'll just be a unique setting to get away. It's open to men and women as well as individuals, and check that out. We'll get a name for you and put it on our Facebook page.
And with that, we are going to take our final break of the hour. And when we come back, we will have our Perkins Kreitzer Construction Lightning Round. I'm looking at the list, and there's a lot on it. Restaurant, retail, interesting stuff. Don't miss it. You're listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Oh, that's good stuff.
It'll be interesting.
I wonder how expensive it'd be to be in the club.
I didn't ask him that, but I know it's a membership. It's not like you have ownership in the building. It's not like you have ownership in a business. Your membership, and it kind of reminds me, if you go to 88 Tactical now, I'll take you over there. They have a speakeasy, like everybody else has a speakeasy now.
You're no one if you don't have a speakeasy.
And a pickleball court. But kind of like Alice and Wicked Rabbit, it's for a certain level of membership at 88 Tactical. They're growing their membership over there. And it's kind of dark in there. They got a cool bar. They got real nice lounge chairs and games and things like that. So it's just another amenity that they're adding. Their restaurant actually is pretty good.
Ben, how much time will we have?
5 minutes exactly.
Exactly, and that includes the music?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Show's going back.
I guess 5 minutes until I start, so 5.5.
5.5.
Yes.
Okay, so 5.5 including the music.
Yes.
Okay. We have a 30-second song that we have at the end. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum, no, no, bum.
That's our end music?
Yeah. It has been
Sounds
for
different.
20 years.
Sounds different. Remember? Who
Well,
was
it's got instrumental.
What was it? Frank Pietro? Who's the guy that did our original?
Pietrantoni. Frank Pietrantoni.
The honking.
He created it from scratch, like with a keyboard and sound effects and all that. Yeah,
that was really cool.
It's the music. Our bumper music is original to this show. We hired Frank Pietrantoni. It's the same stuff. We've never changed it in 20 years.
I like it. All right, what do we want to cover?
We used to have we used to have a separate bumper that we would do when we would go out to commercials, but we cut that to save a little time. But that one was one.
Where champions are made.
What do we want to cover?
Oh, we got it all right here. Nope, it's time.
Ticket scammers try to take our money in new ways on the internet for local shows, and also a celebration of pro wrestling on the Emery Soccer podcast page at kfab.com.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Maggot at your service. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics. And it is now time for your Perkins Kreitzer Construction Lightning Round, in which we talk about a lot of things in a short period of time. Especially we like to hit on restaurant and retail news the most during the Lightning Round. Thanks to Perkins Kreitzer Construction for making this possible. Dave Kreitzer and his team over there do a great job as a full-service Class A general contractor. They're based right here in Omaha, but they do the whole area, not just the metro area. They'll do projects, up in like Kearney, Norfolk, North Platte, Sioux City, Lincoln. So Omaha metro area, and they go out a ways as well. Now, PC Construction, that's what we like to call them for short, Perkins Kreitzer PC. They may be a newer company, but know this, lots of experience on that construction team. Well, it doesn't matter whether you're talking about the project managers, the superintendents, carpenters, laborers, everyone. Many of these folks that work at Perkins Kreitzer Construction have over 30 years of experience themselves in the industry. Put it all together, you got a very experienced team. Healthcare, retail, office, education, religious, industrial, financial institutions, even restaurants. They do all of that. And we recommend, if you're thinking about doing a project, get a hold of Dave Kreitzer from Perkins Kreitzer Construction. I'll be glad you did. Dave's an easy guy to work with, very pleasant, and knows the business extremely well. Well, let's get into it. The big news is it appears as if the Machine Shed, a themed restaurant out of Iowa, it's actually owned by a company in Moline, Illinois, original location in Davenport, Iowa. There's one nearby in the Des Moines, Iowa suburb of Urbandale. The logo, or the slogan for this business is a restaurant honoring America's farmers. I've been to the Machine Shed a couple times.
I have not.
Yeah, the one in Urbandale, Iowa. It's very good. I was there one time for dinner, and it was good, a little bit on the heavy side, but I've been there a few times for breakfast, and the breakfasts are outstanding.
I know the Whalen family, headed by Mike Whalen, the father, and they have a number of restaurants, convention centers, hotels. They also, in Omaha, they already own the Johnny's Italian Steakhouse at Village Point.
Now, a little bit of controversy here. The Throwback Arcade at 1402 Howard Street, the former Throwback Arcade, was full of controversy, got themselves in a little bit of trouble with the State Liquor Control Commission. Same owners are opening up a new concept called Crush Ultra Lounge. They did receive approval from the Liquor Control Commission, so they should be opening soon. Yesterday, they were working on the space. Some might say, what could possibly go wrong there with a name like Crush, but we shall see. And it looks like a neat place. Signage is already in place as well.
We don't know what the theme is. Is it Crushed Velvet? Or?
They're going to have shows. They're going to have, producers will bring shows in there, and I'm sure a great time shall be had by all.
It's a cool building. I remember going in there.
Very cool. They got that rooftop space in there. Lazy Buffalo Barbecue plans to open next week in the former Kathmandu Momo Station space at 3924 Farnham Street, right in the Blackstone District. It'll be a live fire barbecue restaurant, but connected to Scriptown Brewing Company, just like Kathmandu Momo Station was. They're moving downtown to the 16th and Farnham Street area, by the way. Now, construction is underway, and the new building is mostly enclosed for the future Hot Pot 88 restaurant, 2502 South 130th Avenue. That's the site of the old Stoysich House of Sausage.
It's interesting that they tore that down, and that might be there's been hot pot done other places down at Canfield Plaza and stuff, but this will be very interesting to see the new take.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are anticipating this. They call themselves Asian cuisine, but I think if it's hot pot, you pretty much know that. And they will be coming along here.
Did you see the sign on Smash Park?
I did. Yeah, we did.
They're putting some colors on that building. This is the Southport West area over by Cabela's, and they're still working on it, and hopefully they'll be open. I think it's supposed to be open this summer, isn't it?
Yeah, this summer, I believe.
That's a big facility, big concrete facility.
Starbucks has opened a new coffee shop in Heartwood Preserve. Heartwood Preserve, what we were talking about in the last segment. It is very close to that new Mahogany and Charleston. So Music's playing so really fast. 2 closings. Addie's closing its old Millard location, and LB's Mexican restaurant closing its Millard location south of Interstate 80 on Highway 50. That's it for this week. I'm Jeff Beals.
And I'm Trenton Maggot.
You've been listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Perkins Kreitzer Construction, Cheer Athletics, and Dingman's Collision Center. We'll chat with you next week at 9 right here on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.